Hey YouTube, it's me, it's the man who likes to RNT, dropping a fresh VID for you today. And you know what? I just have to say, after watching the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view over the weekend, I was pleasantly surprised by a majority of the matches. I did not expect Bray Wyatt to beat Seth Rollins. I did not expect Braun Strowman to win the ambulance match over Roman Reigns, as I talked about in my predictions video for that event. I will say I was greatly disappointed in the main event, and it has nothing to do with Samoa Joe. It has everything to do with the man who is currently our WWE Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. Now, as a fan, I can tell you that no one, and I mean no one, marked out more than me when Brock Lesnar made his return in 2012 and busted open Super Cena, giving him an air of humanness, an air of vulnerability. And then I'll even go so far as to admit that I was disappointed when, upon Lesnar's return, they actually had him losing more than he was winning in the initial run of it. But looking back, I understand. I understand that that was Vince paying Brock Lesnar back for the way he left the company and the abysmal performance that was the initial matchup of Brock Lesnar-Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. So I understood. And once Brock had paid his debts, they proceeded to book him as the monster that we all remember from his run in 2003. He was destroying everybody, even taking it so far as to be the man that ended the legendary streak of Undertaker at WrestleMania. A fact that, while I do understand, the hardcore fan in me still struggles with to this very day. Then, something happened. Something happened at WrestleMania 31 that initially was a good thing for Lesnar and the entire WWE Universe. During his match with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar created Suplex City. And he did suplex Roman Reigns multiple times in that match. And I don't know about you, but we all cheered at that time. And they made t-shirts, and they made it a gimmick. I believe they even made it a gimmick in the 2K17 intro, where they invited you to Suplex City, at least in the initial commercials. And we loved it. And Brock, being the savvy businessman that he is, noticed we loved it. So he made it his shtick, where he would suplex his opponents multiple times and hit an F5 and call it a day. And for a while, we all cheered. And then that became all Brock did. Now, if I'm once again being fair to the man who is Brock Lesnar, when he went into his match against Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania, I expected a limited performance because his opponent was limited. I don't care what you Bill Goldberg fans say out there, by the way. Bill Goldberg admits himself to be a limited competitor because all his fans want to see is Spear, Jackhammer, go home. So when they faced each other for the 5 minutes, I think that match was, it was better than I expected, and it was certainly better than the match at WrestleMania 20. At Great Balls of Fire, Brock did not have a limited opponent. Samoa Joe can do almost anything you ask of him, and when you look at a man who looks like Samoa Joe does, he should not be capable of pulling off the crap that he can, and yet he does, because he enjoys performing for the fans. People are praising this main event, and for the life of me, I just don't get it. They're like, yeah, well, it showed how scrappy, Samoa Joe was, and he almost got Brock in the Coquina Clutch multiple times, and was that close from winning the Universal title. I have news for you guys. Joe wasn't winning that title that night, and anyone with a modicum of wrestling IQ could tell you that. I'm sorry if I just burst y'all's bubble. I do believe Joe's going to get the title down the road, but it's going to be against a guy that he can have a much better match with. Like, I don't know, Roman Reigns? But I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Brock, look at me. Look at me. I know that man-to-man between you and I, you could tie me into a pretzel of your choosing, multiple knots if you wish. You could bust me open. You could kick my ass if you were standing in front of me. And yet, knowing all that, I would still stand in front of the man once known as the Vanilla Gorilla and call you a lazy son of a bitch. Because that is exactly what you have turned into. No apologies. No I'm sorry. No show me a time when you weren't. Because at this current time, that's exactly what you are. And you know you can be. Because Suplex City has made you a lot of money in t-shirt sales. I know there's a lot of shirts out there. I know you're getting multiple millions of dollars for the remaining portion of your contract, so you don't have to care, and I do commend you for being a savvy businessman. But I need to remind you that you are in the business of pro wrestling / sports entertainment, so your job is to entertain your fans. And even the most hardcore of your fans, myself I count among them, can no longer defend you when all you do is suplex, 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 F5, go home. You used to beat the crap out of people. You used to clothesline people. You used to slam people and make them believe that they had gone through hell. Your match that you had with Triple H at WrestleMania 29 was leagues better than anything I've seen. And WrestleMania 29 was not my favorite of WrestleManias. I have no qualms in saying that. So I want to know what the hell happened. It's become common to label wrestlers lazy in the modern era. People have been labeling Dean Ambrose lazy, and he is. He's a guy who's lazy because you know the exact kind of match he's going to have, time in and time out. People have taken to labeling Shinsuke Nakamura lazy, and I will refute that one to my dying breath. And the reason is, we know what he's capable of from his time in NXT. All you need to do is look at his debut match he had against Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas, or frankly any match he was put in his time in NXT, and you know what the man is capable of. The difference between then and now is under the main WWE umbrella, Shinsuke Nakamura is being booked by Vince McMahon and not Triple H. And Vince McMahon is trying to protect his investment, so he's putting him in these safe style matches where he can't really show off his true ability, but he's winning, so people care. It is extremely unfortunate, and in fact, I will go so far as to label it unforgivable, that the Raw World / Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, is the epitome of everything that is a lazy wrestler in the current era. And it's unfortunate because all you need to do is go back to any match that Brock Lesnar was featured on in 2003, in particular his match he had with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19, and see what this man was once capable of. And he still is. But he recognizes that regardless of what he does at this point in his career, Vince is going to pay him because he's a draw. But that's pathetic. It's pathetic. A man who performs like this is not worthy of the multi-million-dollar paycheck that he gets from WWE. And if I was Vince, a man who once claimed to have cojones the size of grapefruits, I would walk up to Lesnar, I should say, and say, if you don't start performing like you used to, you're not gonna get paid the way you used to. There should be a performance clause. I know there won't be, because Brock's guaranteed that money, and good on Brock for getting it, because if you're gonna go out there and put your body on the line, you deserve to get paid decently. This is an injustice, because the work Brock Lesnar is putting forward is not worthy of what he's getting paid. And unlike most wrestlers who can look at Vince McMahon and say, you're the reason that I'm looking the way I am in ring and such, Brock is choosing this path for himself, and he's trying to protect himself for a life of post-wrestling. I get it. But I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar. You are a lazy son of a bitch. What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar? Post them down in the comment section below. Ranter's going to get off the soapbox and get on the WWE Network and remind myself of how good Brock Lesnar used to be. Catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.